Welcome to this video. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, Joe, and we're going to be talking about his transformation. But first of all, Joe, please can you just introduce yourself to everyone by telling us maybe where you're from and what you do for work?
Yeah, I'm from South Wales, a city called Newport, and sandwiched between Cardiff and Bristol. And I work in Bristol as a project manager on new build residential properties.
Brilliant. Well, it's great to have you here. If we can, we'll go back to the very start of your journey. So please can you tell everyone a little bit about where you were before you joined the program and what you were struggling most with?
Yeah. So prior to joining the program, I'd been vegan for about 6 months, and I found this guy online who did some personal training out of his garage, this old chap. So yeah, I started training with him, doing sort of circuit training. It was a bit one dimensional. I did that for 6 months really. I got some results from it, some weight loss and whatnot, but no real guidance around nutrition, um, or veganism for that matter. He wasn't a vegan himself. So yeah, he got, I credit him with getting me sort of back into training. But it was just, yeah, I was just looking for more really from a personal trainer, and hence why I started looking about for somebody else who could maybe offer me some guidance.
Yeah. If you can explain a little bit about what that training was that you were doing beforehand.
Yeah, so it was just circuit training. So you had a treadmill and a bike and just some weights set up in his garage. So as soon as I start, he'd beast me on the treadmill. Then I do a couple of it was all sort of lightweight, so it wasn't really sort of pushing max reps or anything like that. And it was that 3 times a week, really. It was all on the how many calories have I burnt? How many calories have I burnt? That was the main focus. And again, whilst it got me back into the habit of training, that's all I was doing. And in my head, it wasn't. I wanted to build muscle. My cardiovascular was fine. I've always sort of run. I've always been quite good at that sort of thing. Um, so yeah, it great to get me back into habits, but yeah, it's not exactly the training that I was after.
Yeah. And like you said, you did get obviously some results with
Yeah,
that trainer, but you weren't necessarily, I think when we first spoke, like you weren't necessarily happy with the shape of your body and where that was at.
no,
So if you can just expand a little bit more on that for everyone.
yeah. So I suppose when I first started with him, I wanted to gain muscle. And because I was doing weights with him, I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna sort of gain muscle. But 6 months in, I wasn't seeing the results in the mirror that I thought I would see after 6 months of, and it was brutal. Man, somebody's training, so I go in for an hour and I burn like 900 calories. I was just like, wow. Do you know what I mean? So I was improving my CV, but um, yeah, I just wasn't getting the results that I thought I was signing up for. And because I thought it was a PT, I thought he'd have all the answers. I thought, oh, that like this isn't right. I don't need a PT to do this. I sort of do this sort of thing myself. But yeah, so I just felt a bit stuck really, um,
Yeah.
like I was when I first started with him. But again, not the sort of discredit in me. I did get some results, but not the results I wanted.
Yeah. And you mentioned there, you knew almost how to do cardio already. If you
Yeah.
can just go then back before that 6 months and talk about what your training had looked like for most of your life since you actually got into training in the first place.
Yeah, so a bit about why I got into training. I was always a very big lad in school. I don't like to use the word, but I was a fat kid in school. And then sort of as school ended, just around sort of when I started university, really, I just sort of started running. I started losing weight. So I thought, great, this is the answer to all my problems. So I just run, pretty much like Forrest Gump for 15 years. And yeah, it was great to keep my weight off, but that was it. It was just keeping my weight off. So in terms of like with clothes on and stuff, you'd look at me and think, oh yeah, he's in good shape. But actually, I wasn't happy with what I saw in the mirror. But I didn't know where to turn really. So yeah, it was just that was my training. It was run, run, run. It it kept it kept things at bay in terms of what other people saw, other than obviously my wife. What other people saw, they thought, oh, this guy's in good shape, and then
Mm.
I suppose that was enough for me at the time. But it's sort of I wasn't happy with all the effort I was putting in. I wasn't getting the roles I wanted. So yeah, running and that was it really. No strength training.
Yeah, and you said there like you weren't happy with what you saw in the mirror. If you can expand a bit more on that, because as you said, from other people looking at you, they would think that,
Yeah,
oh, Joe's in pretty good shape. But what was it specifically that you weren't actually happy with?
yeah. There was areas of my body that I wasn't happy with. Like I've always sort of carried weight around my size, like my love handles and my chest. Um, so they were the two main areas, really. Obviously, a little bit of a belly, but that didn't worry me too much. They were, and in my arms, I've always had skinny arms. Um, so yeah, they're the three main areas I've always struggled with mentally.
Yeah, and just to expand if you can on like how long then were you actually struggling with those types of thoughts and feelings that you were having?
I mean, forever. I mean, through school, it was obviously being a big lad. You're seeing, that's all you're seeing in the mirror. Kids can be quite cruel. So um, yeah, I've had that, and I still battle with it now. I mean, but yeah. So as long as I can remember, really, as long as I can remember being conscious about, I don't know when that kicks in as a kid. Obviously, not when you're 5 years old and you're running around and having the best time. But as I suppose as you get a little bit older through school, maybe 9 or 10, up until sort of yeah, up until sort of my mid 30s. Really, is something that I struggle with. I know a lot, and I know a lot of people do struggle with, and other people have other areas they're conscious about. But it's just that's just the way it is. But yeah,
Yeah. So that is obviously like a huge driving force, I think, behind you wanting to make a change and becoming interested in signing up to the program.
mm.
Is there anything else you can think of in life that was wanting you to make a change and try and improve your health and your body?
Yeah, I got two young kids. One who's 1.5, and one who's just turned 4. So that's what I'm not an old chap by any means. I'm in my late 30s, but it's just I wanted to be physically active with the kids. I don't just want to be one of these sit down dads, but that was a driving force. And my nutrition as well has never been sort of great. I always was, not now, but I always was sort of calorie focused. I thought calories was king, and that was the only factor really. So which is obviously not the case. So just improving my knowledge base around nutrition and yeah, feeling fit and strong and
Yeah,
active to be able to be an active dad outside of work. Work's tiring enough, and then being active outside of work as well. It was a key driver for me. Yeah.
definitely. Because I guess, especially your oldest, he's probably coming to an age where he's starting to have quite a lot of energy, I'm guessing.
Oh, this morning before nursery, they were both absolutely battering me. One of them was jumping up and down on my leg. The other one was battering me with a pillow, um, telling me I smell. Which obviously I only just woke up, so it's probably they're probably right. But you have to have it back. Do you know what I mean? I'm not just going to sit there and take it. So
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like obviously you had some really powerful reasons
yeah.
behind wanting to make the change. Despite that, it's always scary investing in yourself and signing up to a program. Did you have any doubts or uncertainties about either the program or within your own mind of whether you could kind of follow through with things?
Um, in terms of whether I thought I would be able to stick to whatever you threw at me in the program, no. I and again, I know that's not the same for everyone, but for me personally, I've never had a struggle with um, motivation or being consistent with something. Like I said, I run for 15 years, even because it kept my sort of weight gain at bay. Really, it was just that investment in myself. It was just getting over that concept of, well, I can join the gym, um, which is going to cost less money. But then I'm on my own sort of thing. So I can invest myself and just join the gym. But then I had reservations about that because I didn't really know what I was doing. So the biggest
Yeah.
thing for me was just investing in myself, actually taking a plunge and just doing it. I nearly signed up with somebody 12 months prior to yourself, but it just something wasn't quite right. He was too pushy, and I just decided, no, I'll bury my head in the sand for another 12 months.
Mm.
But I finally sort of did it, and yeah, the rest is history, as they say.
Exactly. Let's talk a little bit about that history. So you signed up and you're around 79 kilograms when you first joined,
Yeah,
which is 174 pounds for anyone watching in pounds. You then finished the fat loss around 66 kilograms, which is 145 pounds. So in that initial fat loss phase we did, you lost 13 kg overall, which is 29 pounds. You also lost 4.5 inches off your waist and 4.5 inches off your hips as well. So pretty incredible numbers there. What are like the biggest physical differences that you've noticed over your time of being in the program?
well, at the end of that fat loss phase, I thought my love handles were because of genetics. I've
Mm,
always had them. And then they'd gone. Like literally, I didn't have them. I was amazing. I was looking at myself in the mirror. I was like, I don't have love handles anymore. I don't have man boobs anymore. I can see some definition. I just saw abs. You had to do crunch, crunch, crunch for abs. But no, it was just getting rid of the fat around your stomach. And I just felt amazing. I was looking in the mirror. I still look back at my before and afters now at the end of my fat loss. And I just amazed at the results really. I had some definition in my arms. I've never had that before. I had the sort you see sort of the veins in my arms from
mm,
the training and this, that, and the other. And you know, to look in the mirror and see somebody like that, other people, you know, I've looked at other people in that shape and thought, I'm never going to get there. And you know, within sort of 6 months, I'd achieved it just with the right guidance and knowing, you know, doing the right thing rather than sort of yeah, and that was through less running as well.
yeah,
Less running
yeah,
and more time in the gym and more
yeah.
sort
You're
of
just doing
yeah, more better
one run a
choices.
week.
Yeah, one run a week, better choices in the kitchen and resistance training. And
Yeah.
yes, tick tick tick. It was amazing. So yeah, it was unbelievable. I still look back at the photos now, you know, and I say it like I'm in great shape now, but I just like looking back at those photos and just seeing that the transformation. Really, it gives me you know a real sort of boost and yeah
Sense of pride, I guess, as well,
yeah
because
pride. Yeah, I suppose that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, absolutely.
definitely. And one of the main things you were mentioning at the beginning was muscle, and you wanted to build some strength, build some muscle really for the first time properly in your life.
Mm.
Have you noticed a change on that side of things throughout the program?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, initially your weights are going up more than they do towards the end of it. You sort of at the start, I was more focused on right the next week, the next week, the next week. But then my form started sort of going a little bit, so it's just making sure my form was right, and then it's you know trying to push another rep. So my weights are still even 12 months in now. You know, my weights and my reps are still going up slightly, and if that's happening, I know based on everything that's been happening in this program, I know I'm gaining muscle. So doing that, getting PB still in the gym, um, yeah, it's just, and I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the definition and everything in my body, in my legs, everything is, and my shoulders, my back. Um, yeah, and just getting confidence off other people as well. Just sort of verifies that as well. It's great. It's been really good for my sort of mentality.
Yeah. And if you can, we obviously touched on the physical aspects of the transformation there and the fat you've lost, the muscle you gained, etc., etc. What about mentally? How have things changed for you over the last 12 months?
Oh, it's yeah, it's been really transformative. I've struggled with feeling inadequate in other people's presence, other people who are in really good shape, even though I'm loud and outgoing and everything on the surface. Obviously, that's all surface level, and a lot of that I think has come from being in school and being a big kid and sort of masking how you feel and sort of masking it with comedy, really. But internally, it's been a constant battle from sort of being a kid up through to now, where you're just feeling inadequate in other people's presence who are in really good shape. I've got good mates who are in really good shape. I love spending time with them, but in the back of my mind, you sort of go out for a pint and this, that, and the other, and their arms are bulging out and whatnot. And I'm sat there, and I don't know why, but I just felt inadequate. But now that feeling, I suppose, is I've had a lifetime of that feeling, so it's always there somewhere, but it's diminished substantially, really. And I feel confident in the gym. I feel a lot less inadequate. Like, I'm constantly going to be trying to improve myself and gain muscle. That's part of it. It's a lifestyle choice. It's not just a short term fix. I'll train for 12 months and that's it. Yeah, I've got everything I want. It's going to be a constant thing. But I love going to the gym now. I don't feel inadequate. I could be bench pressing next to the biggest guy in the gym, and it doesn't bother me at all. If you told me that 12 months ago, I would have laughed at you because I would have avoided that, and I probably would have jumped on the treadmill.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's been huge, really, for me.
What do you think, Joe? You mentioned the word lifestyle there. What do you think has really helped make it into a lifestyle for you? And I know from our conversations, like, you're very confident about the future going forward. But what
Yeah.
what do you feel like has given you that confidence and helped you make it a truly part of your life?
Biggest thing for me is the knowledge I have now to take forward with me that I didn't have when I first started.
Yeah.
So I know if I want, I know what to do if I want to build muscle. I know what I need to do if I want to lose some fat. I know what I need to do now if I want to build my calories back up without putting weight on. I know that's stuff I didn't know, and that's stuff you learn. I've learned throughout the program, and it's just having that confidence now that I know what to do to get the results that I want. Whereas before I didn't. I was very one dimensional. I thought, oh, the only thing is to reduce my calories and go running. That's all I can do. I didn't. But now it's just having that knowledge to take forward. I feel so comfortable and confident with the future now. I'm already thinking now, right, what am I going to do in the winter? I'm probably going to do another bulk for 5-6 months. Then I'll do a cut after that. So, but I'm going to get my maintenance calories back at first. Looking forward to the extra calories. Looking forward to benching more weight in the gym, and then doing a cut for next summer. But it's just playing about with it as well. I like that. I was speaking to somebody in work the other day. He's like, oh, but so you're always going to be up and down. I said, not necessarily. That's just what I like doing at the minute. Might get to a point where I'm like, oh no, I'm happier now, so I'll just build my calories back up to maintenance, and I'll just maintain for as long as I want. But I like playing around with it,
Yeah.
and it doesn't scare me having extra calories. Whereas before, calories were like the devil. Like, I didn't want to. Oh, I can't have extra calories. I'm going to put weight on. But
Yeah.
no, it's not. It's not that at all. It's just and that's the biggest takeaway for me is that knowledge around that.
Yeah. And if I'll say a word, I think it's like control, isn't it? It's like beforehand, you never felt like you had control of your
Mm.
situation because you were always doing the cardio, doing the calories, and that wasn't then getting you the results you wanted. Whereas now you have that knowledge, and that has given you so much control of what
Yeah,
you want to do in your body. And finally, probably for the first time in your life, you're in the driving seat now, and it's not something else isn't kind of determining how you are. It's like you can do what you want with it from
mm,
here onwards.
absolutely, 100%. You've hit the nail on the head there. It's exactly that, really, and yeah, just and then that just breeds confidence in what you're doing.
Mm.
Not second guessing myself, so I'm not going to think, oh, let's just give up because I'm not even sure what I'm doing is right anyway. Well, no, it is. It's yeah, it's great. It's the best takeaway for me.
Yeah. You touched on the reverse diet. Just to give everyone a bit more context about Joe's journey. So we did the fat loss phase. roughly 4 months. You managed to lose weight really well in that 4 months. And I think we reverse dieted you for a good 2 or 3.
Mm.
And then got your calories up to a really good level. But then since then, you said that I want to go on a muscle building phase. So that's what we've done. And then we're just coming to the end of that cut now before Joe's going to go on it alone over the rest of summer in like a nice maintenance phase. So that's a bit of context behind your journey, which I probably should have said earlier. But the crucial question I wanted to ask Joe was, now that you have lost the weight, do you think you will keep it off forever and keep that control going forward?
100%. Yeah, most definitely. And I suppose I touched on it just then in terms of my short term sort of outlook is, yeah, I want to play around with it. I want to see what I can do with these numbers because I I I I know what I need to do for certain results. So
Yeah,
yeah, and if I find myself in the future, if I go through a bad patch, or if something happens in the future where I don't know, it like nutrition and training needs to be pushed to one side because of factors that are going on in my life, I know I can pick this back up. It's not something you forget. It's like riding a bike, I suppose. Once you know it, that's it. So say I something happens where I have 12 months and I lose control, and then I know within 6 months I can get back to a
yeah,
position that I'm happy with because of the knowledge that I've got, and it's not it, it's not difficult's the wrong word, but it's not something that so it's not something you're going to forget. It's not something that is difficult to remember. It's there. It's quite simple as long as you follow a process. Um, so yeah, even just having that, even just like, oh, if I fall off the wagon, I know I can get straight. I know I can get back on. I know what to do.
yeah, yeah. Brilliant. And I always in these interviews touch on the reverse diet side of things because I think that is such an important thing for anyone to do who does lose body fat to then help prevent it from coming back on. Did you have any skeptical thoughts, Joe, about the reverse diet process? Because I know it's sometimes a bit of a odd concept to think of how you can
Yeah,
like increase your calories without regaining loads of weight. What were your kind of thought processes behind when you first heard about reverse dieting?
the reverse diet was probably the golden ticket for me to be like, right, I need to sign up because
Mm,
it's a bit of a light bulb thing, really, and it's quite it makes sense. I just never really thought about it. Whereas when you start dieting, initially you see quite quick results quickly, but then those results slow down. It's because your body's adapting to those calories, and it's going to work the other way. But I never really thought of that. Prior to, I was a bit like, oh, so I got to lower my calories, and I'm going to be on these calories forever now. And then that's me like, I can't maintain this. I can't maintain these low calories forever. So I mean, I'll just give up.
yeah,
But then when that reverse diet was explained, or you explained it, I was like, yeah, of course, that makes sense. So
yeah,
and then knowing that those lower calories are only for a period of time just gives you that motivation just to carry on doing what you're doing because you know you can build those calories up, but then keep the goals or keep everything that you've achieved without having to be on those less calories. Just to give everyone an idea what I was on. What my lowest calories when I was on my fat loss phase was 1800.
yeah,
But then when I on that weight, I got my calories back up to 2,700, 2006, 2,700. But I didn't put on any more weight. It was just like, and that was just my body adapting by incrementally putting my calories back up, that's been transformative as well.
yeah. No, and I think you're so right in what you said. It's like when people do fat loss, they normally cut their calories in one way or another. Might not be aware they're cutting them, but they try some sort of new diet and that
Mm.
brings their calorie intake down. And then they have that moment where it's like, this is really hard, but I've got to carry on doing this forever to then maintain those results
Yeah,
because there's no way out of it. And that is what the reverse diet essentially fixes. It gives you that goal to aim for where it's like, I know I'm going to have to push myself this fat loss phase, especially at the end, you're going to be challenged. It's going to be hard. But then there is that release and it's not a immediate fix where you suddenly start eating like 500, 600 extra. It's a slow, gradual
yeah.
process, but at least there's light at the end of the tunnel
Mm.
as such.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So no, that's a really important point to mention. And then I guess the final question I'd ask you, Joe, was what would your advice be to someone who is maybe thinking about joining the program and is in a similar position to you, where when you first joined up, maybe they've struggled with their body weight for a long period of their life as well.
Yeah.
Maybe they've been doing a lot of exercise and actually monitoring their food and seeing how many calories they're consuming, like you were at times,
Yeah.
but not getting results. What would you say to that person?
Um, I suppose just do your research, and I suppose you need to be at a point in your life where I suppose motivation and sticking to something wasn't the biggest hurdle for me, but I know that may be the biggest hurdle for other people. So it is an investment in yourself. So I would say don't do it unless you're 100% sort of ready to make that investment. But if you are ready to make that investment, absolutely do it. It's a no brainer. But you can't go into it half hearted because it is a lifestyle change. It it's a long term thing. That you want to stick to your training to get the goals anyway. The training that's been that you're given, you want to be sticking to it. You want to be sticking to your calories and this, that, and the other. And it's not difficult if you're ready to make that change. If you are ready for it, it's an absolute no brainer. And if you can make it work, do it. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Really.
And just I'll ask you one follow-up question on that point. You
Yeah.
say about being ready, which I think is important, definitely. What was it for you where you knew like you were genuinely ready to go in?
Um, phew. I suppose I've been toying with the idea for 12 months about making that investment myself, and I suppose I just hadn't found that that right trainer or that right program to sign up to really. So it's about just doing your research and going with somebody you're comfortable with and somebody whose values align with yours. And that was a big
Yeah.
one for me. Is yours? We got similar outlooks on life with in terms of our nutrition and veganism. I suppose is a big family really. We see the world, I would say, quite similar. So yeah, I was investing in myself, but I was investing in somebody whose values aligned with mine as well. Um, so yeah, that's it really, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I think that's the perfect place to leave it, Joe. So thank you so much. Appreciate your time today. Well done again for everything over the past 12 months. And thank you everyone else for tuning in.
Thank you.